Hello everyone, this is Shipra Bhadauria and I hope you all are safe at your home. So stay home, stay safe. Today we are going to start with the class 6th geography chapter 2, that is the latitude and the longitude. Alright, so here you can see this is your chapter, the latitude and the longitude. So first I would like to tell you in this chapter what we are going to understand. In this chapter we are going to learn about the axis of the earth and the poles, the difference between the latitude and the longitudes, the names of the important latitudes, about the heat zones of the earth, how to calculate time, the difference between the local time and the standard time, and lastly about the time zones of the earth and international dateline. Alright, so as we are going to start with the basic concept of the latitude and longitude, then move forward with the understanding time zones, calculating time zones, and the concept of the day and night. Alright, so for making a basic understanding of the latitude and longitude, we have to understand what is the globe. So let me tell you one thing. Suppose this is your globe. So in this globe we have some important things, that is called the axis of the globe, the north pole and the south pole. So what is the axis of the earth? The axis is an imaginary line which runs from the top to the bottom of the globe, is known as axis. Alright, you can see here this is an imaginary line which is known as axis, and our earth is continuously rotating on its own axis. Alright, after the axis we have the north pole and the south pole. So what is the north pole and the south pole? Here you can see the topmost part of the northern region, that is the north pole, it is of 90 degree, and the southmost part of the southern region, that is also of 90 degree, this is called south pole. So we have two poles, north pole and the south pole, and we have one axis on which our earth is continuously rotating. Alright, so that was our globe. Now understanding the concept of the latitude and longitude. Alright, here you can see in your chapter, this is your chapter, this globe axis, the north pole and the south pole, that right now I have explained you. Next, if I can say this is a kind of sphere, here you can say if this is a kind of sphere, so it means that it is of 360 degree. It means you have the time or the axis is 360 degree, and around this 360 degree you have 24 hours that are calculated. So when simplifying this, I can say 360 degree is equal to 24 hours, and 15 degree would be equal to 1 hour. Alright, so and 1 degree will be equal to 4 minutes. Here you can see 1 degree equal to 4 minutes. Alright, so we will see how we use it as we move further. Alright, now when we come on the concept of the basic concept of the degrees and minutes and seconds, we have 1 degree, 1 minute, 1 hour which is equal to 60 minutes, and 1 minute which is equal to 60 seconds. Alright, so that is the basic criteria that we will use as we move across in this lecture. Alright, now if I try to understand with the help of this globe, I can say the lines which move horizontally would be the parallel These lines run from the east to the west direction. These parallel lines are called the latitudes. Okay, here you can see a set of imaginary horizontal lines drawn between the two poles are called the parallels of the equator and the parallels of the latitude. These lines run from the east direction to the west direction. Here you can see. Now the next one is longitude. So a set of imaginary lines which drawn vertically from the north pole to the south pole are called the longitudes or the meridian of the longitudes. They run in the north to the south direction. So let's take the simple parallel which are drawn on this globe. The parallel which you can see in the center of the globe, that is called the equator. Alright, equator is the midest part of the globe. This is the imaginary line which drawn exactly the midway between the two poles is called the equator. It divides the earth into two equal halves, and these halves are called the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. I have some diagram to explain you the concept of the equator, the north pole and the south pole, the meridians and the parallels. Alright, so firstly we are going to see what is the equator. So you can see here, this is our globe. We have four direction: east, west, north, south. Okay, and this is the midway line that divides the earth into two equal halves. That is the northern hemisphere. This part is the northern hemisphere and this part is the southern hemisphere, and this is equator which is of 0 degree. Alright, now let's move forward towards the pole. So we have two poles, the north pole and the south pole, and this is the northernmost part of the globe and this is the southernmost part of the globe. These two poles are of 90 degree. Alright, let's move towards the latitude and the parallels. So here you can see in the globe, this is the equator which is of 0 degree, and these are the parallel lines which are also known as latitudes. Alright, and this equator divides our earth into two equal halves, that is the northern hemisphere and this one is the southern hemisphere. Now let's move forward the prime meridian. Here you can see this is our globe and this is the line which divides the earth into another equal halves, that is this one is the eastern hemisphere and this one is the western hemisphere. And the prime meridian, it is the centermost part of the earth. Alright, and here you can see the meridians of the longitudes. Here this is the prime meridian, it is of 0 degree and it divides the earth into two equal halves as I have already told you, and these are the meridians of the longitudes. This side it is called eastern longitudes and this side it is called the western longitudes. Alright, so the angular distance of the pole from the equator is 90 degree north latitude, which while the south it is marked as 90 degree south latitude. Alright, now on our globe we have some important parallels of latitude. These are called the Tropic of Cancer, the Tropic of Capricorn, the Arctic Circle and the Antarctic Circle. Alright, so let's try to understand some other important latitude towards the northern and the southern hemisphere. These are the major lines of the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. So you have the equator at 0 degree and north of it 23 23.5 degree north, it is called the Tropic of Cancer, and 23.5 degree north south, that is called the Tropic of Capricorn. After that, we have two another important parallel. These are called the Arctic Circle or the Antarctic Circle. So here we have 66.5 degree north, it is called the Arctic Circle, and here we have 66.5 degree south, it is called Antarctic Circle. Alright, after all these parallels, this is equator, this is Tropic of Cancer, this is Arctic Circle. Here this is Tropic of Capricorn, and this is Antarctic Circle. Let's move towards the pole. After 66.5 degree south, here we have 90 degrees south, it is the southernmost part, as I have already told you. This is the south pole, and here after 66.5 degree north to 90 degree, this 90 degree north is called the North Pole. Alright, so we have these poles. Now let's move forward to understand the heat zones of the earth. In terms of the heat and the atmospheric circulations, so we can say that if we try to divide our earth into basic heat zones, so we have three basic heat zones, that is called the torrid zone, the temperate zone, and the frigid zone, which is situated towards the pole. Now let's move forward towards the torrid zone. This zone lies between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn and is also known as the tropical zone. Alright, this is the hottest zone of the earth as it receives more or less direct rays of the sun throughout the year. Here I would like to explain you. Suppose this is our equator. Alright, this is of 0 degree and our sun is situated here. Alright, so this Tropic of Cancer and this Tropic of Capricorn, this part of the globe receives the maximum rays of the sun. That's why this is called the torrid zone. What is the torrid zone? The region between the Tropic of Cancer to the Tropic of Capricorn, this is known as torrid zone. It is the hottest zone of the earth. Alright, after that we have the temperate zone. There are two temperate zones on the earth. The north temperate zone lies between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle, while the south temperate zone lies between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle. Alright, here the temperature is moderate as it receives slanting rays of the earth, so it is neither too hot nor too cold. I would like to explain you again on the globe. See, we have two temperate zone. First one is the north temperate zone and the second one is the south temperate zone. Okay, so from the Tropic of Cancer to Arctic Circle, it means from 23.5 degree north to 66.5 degree north. This is called temperate zone, north temperate zone. And here from the Tropic of Capricorn 23.5 degree south to the Antarctic Circle, it is of 66.5 degree south. This is the south temperate zone, and this zone receives the slanting rays. That's why it is moderate in temperature. Alright, after that we have another important heat zone, that is called the frigid zone. So there are two frigid zones, one in the north and the other in the south, from Arctic Circle to the North Pole and from the Antarctic Circle to the South Pole, that is from 66.5 degree to 90 degree north and south would be known as the frigid zone. These are the extremely cold zones. Alright. So again, let's come over here. From here, 66.5 degree north to 90 degree north, this is the frigid zone. And here from Antarctic Circle, 66.5 degrees south to 90 degrees south pole. Alright, this is also called the frigid zone. And why it is called the frigid zone? Because it is extremely cold. Because this zone rarely receives the sun rays throughout the year. That's why this zone is extremely cold. Alright. Now let's move forward towards the longitude. The lines which runs vertically from the North Pole to the South Pole. You can see here, these are the longitudes. The lines which runs vertically from the North Pole to the South Pole, okay, are known as the longitude and also known as the meridians of the longitudes. So as we see here, there is a spherical representation of the earth. So if it is a sphere, so we can say that it is of 360 degree. So we can say we have 360 lines that runs towards the complete circle. So you have 1 degree line for each 360 degree. So 1 degree will include 4 minutes. So you would have 4 minutes for all the 360 degrees. So we can say that our earth takes 24 hours to complete one rotation. Alright. So let's see here, the lines which runs vertically from the North Pole to the South Pole are known as longitudes. These lines are also called meridians. How many total meridians? Total meridians are 360, because the earth is a spherical shape, and if it is a sphere, so obviously we have 360 degree and we have 1 degree each. Alright. So 15 degree is equal to 1 hour and 1 degree equals to 4 minutes. Alright. Now if we come on the basic concept of the degrees, minutes and seconds, we have 1 hour equals to 60 minutes and 1 minute equals to 60 seconds. Alright. Then let's move forward towards the prime meridian. What is the prime meridian? You can see here, this is the prime meridian. It is of 0 degree. Alright, and it divides the globe into 2 equal halves, that is the eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere. So we have the prime meridian is at 0 degree. This is the mid part of the globe which divides the earth into 2 equal halves, as I told you, the eastern hemisphere or the western hemisphere. So prime meridian is taken as the standard reference point, as it is of the 0 degree. So the line directly opposite to it, it would be 180 degree. How it is of 180 degree? See, if it is of 0 degree, this part is of 180 degree and this part is of 180 degree. Alright, then only we come across to 360 degrees. No? So the opposite part would be 180 degree, and that 180 degree line would be known as the international date line. And why we call it date line? So we call it date line because as we move east or west from the date line, you have the days that changes. So we say if one side of the international date line it is of 14th of July, then the opposite side of it is called 15th of July. So you would have changes in the days as you cross the international date line, but it did not mentioned in the case of Greenwich meridian. So it was the prime meridian. So now let's move forward to understanding the concept of the locating places on the earth, the time and the calculating time, and how we have to understand the local time, the standard time and the international date line. So first we are going to understand locating places on the earth. Alright. On a globe or a map, you will see that the parallels and the meridians crisscross each other and form network or grid. We can locate any place on the surface of the earth with the help of these lines. The point of the intersection of a parallel and a meridian gives the exact location of the place. So, if I want to seek the very simple explanation, I have some points on this diagram. So, let's understand with the help of the diagram. Here we have 2 points, point A and point V. First you have to understand that these are the longitudes and these are the latitudes or the parallels. These are the meridians of longitude. So we have the point A and point B on the same longitude, A and B on the same longitude, and then we have the point C and point D on the same longitude, where we have the point C and D on the same longitude. Now let's move forward to talk about the parallels or the latitude. Alright, so if we can see here, you have point A and point E on the same latitude or the same parallel. Alright, longitude, as you all know that longitude is also known as meridians and latitude is known as the parallels. Alright, so we have A and E on the same latitude. So when we are having such kind of points on the same longitude and the same latitude, then it will be very easy to find out the location of a particular place. For example, the latitude and longitude of Mumbai are approximately 19 degree and 19 degree north and 73 degree east. On the map, if you find out the point where these two lines intersect, you will be able to locate where Mumbai is. Alright, now let's move forward towards the longitude and time. Alright, so time can be commonly measured by the apparent movement of the sun in the sky. When the sun is at the highest point in the sky, it is noon, and as the earth rotates, each place has its own morning, noon and evening. Alright, so we have the meridian. The word meridian is derived from the Latin word that is called meridianus, which means midday. Alright, meridian means midday, means this is the line which is located at the center of the globe, that is called midday. Alright, after that we have the concept of AM and PM. As you all know that AM and PM. So what is the meaning of AM and PM? AM means anti-meridian, means before noon, and PM means post-meridian, means afternoon. So I would like to explain you here on the diagram. See, if this is the prime meridian, that is 0 degree meridian. So if you have the places here, that will be PM, post meridian, and the time before the prime meridian, that will be anti meridian. Alright, next, now I would like to explain you how we calculate the time. Alright, so it is places located on the different meridians have different local time. The difference between the local time of the two places can easily be calculated. The earth takes, as you all know that our earth takes 24 hours to complete one rotation on its axis, that is to cover 360 degrees of the longitude. Alright, if our earth takes 24 hours to cover one rotation, so what do you understand by the sphere? Sphere has 360 degrees. It means it takes 24 hours to complete total 360 degrees. Alright, so to cover 1 degree of longitude, it will take 24 into 60 upon 360 minutes or 4 minutes. It means 1 degree equals to 4 minutes. Alright, and you have to keep it in mind that the places in the east are always ahead in time than the places in the west. Why so? Hence, for each degree of longitude towards the east, 4 minutes have to be added. While we are going on the west, we have to subtract 4 minutes from the time. Alright, so here you can see with the help of the diagram. Suppose this is our earth. Alright, this is the eastern hemisphere and this is the western hemisphere. Alright, and our earth rotates from the west to east direction. So this is obvious that the sun rises in the east. From which direction the sun rises? The sun rises in the east and it sets in the west. When the sun rises at a particular place, any place to its east has already seen the sunrise and it is morning there. However, the places which are located at the west direction of the prime meridian, that are still dark. Here you can see, like this is 6 a.m. This is sunrise. Alright, so sun will rotate like here. After that 6 a.m. it is 8 a.m. and the difference between this is of 0 degree. After that 0 degree we have 30 degree for 8 a.m. So as you all know that we have 60 minutes in 1 hour, and here is the difference between 6 and 8 a.m. It is 2 hours. So if we have 60 minutes for 1 hour, then how many minutes for 2 hours? We have 120 minutes. Alright, and we have 1 degree equals to 4 minutes. So we have 120 minutes for this difference of the time. And at noon, when this is the equator, it is of 90 degree east. So this is the equator line, and when the sun is here, it is the midpoint when the sun rays are slanting directly towards the equator. After that our time moves on like this: 12 noon, then 2 p.m., then 4 p.m., 6 p.m. it is sunset, then it is the 8 p.m., 10 p.m., and it is our midnight, 12 p.m., then 2 a.m., then 4 a.m. Then after that again the cycle will start at 6 a.m. it is sunrise. So when the sun will be there, so it will be very obvious that the eastern part of the hemisphere will receive the sun rays first. So morning will be there and this part will be the evening. Alright, now let's move forward. Standard time. Alright, so now we have to understand the local time of the meridian, which passes almost through the center of the country. It is taken as the time for the whole country. The meridian is called the standard meridian and its local time is called the standard time of the country. The local time of the meridian is called the Greenwich time. Every country has a few meridians passing through it. For example, in India has 30 meridians passing through it. So if each meridian were to follow its local time, there would be a lot of confusion within the country. So regarding trains and flights timing, etc. So every country needs to have their own standard time. Alright, to avoid such kind of problem, the local time of the meridian, which passes almost through the center of the country, is taken as the time for the whole country. The meridian is called the standard meridian. Alright, and the prime meridian and the time is called the standard time, and the local time of the prime meridian is called the Greenwich Mean Time, that is called GMT. Alright, then the standard time of India is 82 degree 30 east, which passes through the city of Allahabad, and its local time is known as the Indian Standard Time, that is called IST, and is followed by all over the country. Alright, then we have the difference in time between the IST and between the GMT is 5 hours 30 minutes ahead. Alright, so as our country is to the east of the Greenwich, you have to keep in mind that where is India located? India is located at this portion, eastern hemisphere. Alright, so our country is to the east of the Greenwich. Our standard time is 5 hours 30 minutes ahead of the Greenwich Mean Time. Alright, and suppose if any country is located at the west of the meridian, Greenwich meridian, then the time will be 5 hours 30 minutes before the Greenwich Mean Time. Alright, next, time zones. Our earth has been divided into several time zones for our convenience. Since it takes 24 hours to complete one rotation, it means 24 hours to complete the 360 degrees. Alright, we have to complete 360 lines, cover 360 lines in 24 hours. There are 24 time zones, alright, of 1 hour each. How many time zones we are having? We have 24 time zones for 1 hour each, and each time zone cover 15 degree of longitude. So if I would say, however, some countries have several time zones passing through them. Countries like the USA, the Canada and the Russia have vast east-west extent, have a great time difference between the eastern and the western parts. Hence, such countries have been divided into several time zones, and each with its own standard time. For example, the USA has the 5 time zones, and the Russia has the highest number of time zones, that is 11 time zones. Alright, then let's move forward towards the international dateline. What is the international dateline? First, I would like to see you here. Suppose this is our globe, and we have the different meridians. We have a 360 meridians on the globe. So this is the prime meridian, which is located at the 0 degree. Then this whole part is the eastern hemisphere, and this whole part is the western hemisphere. So it is of 180 degree, and this 180 degree line is known as the international dateline. Alright, so we know that the time is added by 4 minutes for every longitude while going eastward, and it is subtracted while going westward. I repeat, when we suppose this is our prime meridian, if we move from the eastward, then we have to add 4 minutes, and if we go to the westwards, we have to subtract 4 minutes, okay, from the time. As such, there is a 24 hours, means 24 hours we have to complete the rotation of 360 meridians. So 1 minute, 1 degree, these are the 360 degree, and for 1 degree how many minutes we have? For 1 degree we have 4 minutes. So for 360 degree how many minutes are required? These are 1440 minutes. Alright, so the difference at 180 degree east longitude, which is the same as the 180 degree west longitude. To solve this problem, an imaginary line is called the international dateline was created. It is more or less same as the 180 degree longitude, but not a straight line. Alright, the 180-degree longitude passes through many islands in the Pacific Oceans. Thus, the international date line is a zigzag line. All the meridians are very straight, but the international date line, which are situated at the 180 degree, this is a kind of zigzag line like this. It is situated like this. International date line is looking like this. So this zigzag line keeping the island groups on either side of it. If we cross this line from west to east, we have to adjust our watches by adding a day, while we subtract a day when we cross the date line from east to west. Alright, so I hope you will understand the chapter very well. Thank you.